In Space Watch, the Trump administration launched the U.S. Space Command Thursday. It's part of the president's efforts to establish a sixth branch of the military. Bofta Yimam has those details.
It's all systems go as the White House celebrates the launch of U.S. Space Command.
Spacecom will ensure that America's dominance in space is never questioned and never threatened.
Space Command is an effort to reorganize and boost the U.S. military's tech capabilities in outer space. It's existed before, but dissolved more than a decade ago. General Jay Raymond currently leads what's known as Air Force Space Command. He'll be the first commander of U.S. Space Command.
On behalf of the space warfighters, thank you for your leadership.
Under Spacecom, the military says 87 units will work to provide everything from missile warnings to satellite-based navigation for troops in the field.
The Space Force will organize, train, and equip warriors to support Spacecom's mission.
U.S. Space Command will temporarily be headquartered at Peterson Air Force Base in Colorado Springs. Bofta Yimam, CBS News, the White House.
The U.S. president today announcing a critical new defence mission, space. U.S. correspondent Tim Arvia with more.
287 staff have been given the job of recommissioning the US Space Command, which was originally commissioned in the 1980s during the Cold War but disbanded in 2002. Now its mission will be to ensure America's interests in outer space are protected. Donald Trump made the announcement at the White House today, saying Space Command will have the latest technology in what he calls the next war-fighting domain.
Spacecom will ensure that America's dominance in space is never questioned and never threatened, because we know the best way to prevent conflict is to prepare for victory.
Donald Trump says the re-establishment of Space Command will be followed by the creation of a specialised Space Force who will organise, train and equip warriors to support Spacecom's mission. However, that still needs to be approved by Congress. Meanwhile, there's still no announcement on exactly where in the US Space Command will be based.
Making sure the U.S. remains at the forefront of the final frontier. That is the goal of a new military agency. U.S. President Donald Trump named the head of the new Space Command on Thursday. He said the new office will ensure continued American dominance of space. CGTN's Nathan King has the details.
We have ignition and liftoff of the
This is the final frontier for the U.S. military, and like here on Earth, the U.S. wants to dominate. Space Command, Spacecom for short, will oversee and help plan for Space Force, a planned separate branch of the U.S. military that will focus on satellite surveillance, warning system for potential hostile missile launches, and all the classified stuff Washington won't talk about.